Let's understand the concept of active insufficiency. It is the inability of a biarticulate or a multi-articulate muscle to create tension because it is already shortened. Now let's understand this. So we'll take the example of the calf muscle. Now consider this to be my foot. Okay. So this is my forefoot and this is my heel. Okay. This is my forefoot, this is my heel. Now when I place my forefoot on the floor and I raise my heel like this. Okay. This is when I raise my heel. That's where my calf muscles are being used. It's exercised. So this movement of raising the heel and keeping the forefoot on the floor, this movement is known as plantar flexion. Now when this happens, when this movement happens at the heel, that's where the calf muscles are being exercised. Okay. Now the calf muscle, it consists of the gastrocnemius muscle and the soleus muscle. Now here the gastrocnemius muscle is a biarticulate muscle. So this concept of uniarticulate, biarticulate, multi-articulate muscle I have already discussed in my previous video. Now to do the calf workout in the gym, I'll use the standing calf raises. Okay. So I'll place my foot and I'll keep doing this movement. I'll raise the heel. So the movement at the ankle, that's the plantar flexion, that's where the calf muscles are being worked upon. Now the gastrocnemius muscle is a big muscle in comparison to the soleus muscle, and that's where in this standing calf raises exercise, the gastrocnemius muscle will be used predominantly because it's a bigger muscle. Okay. The soleus muscle also is being used but not maximally. Predominantly it's the gastrocnemius muscle that is being used. Now in this exercise, the soleus muscle, it gets neglected and barely used in this workout. So that is where the concept of active insufficiency was being understood and studied, and that's where the seated calf raise machine was being included in the gym. So this is how designing of gym equipments are based on these concepts, and that is the reason I'm discussing about this in this video, because I have always been emphasizing on going to the gym and doing workouts, because gym equipments are designed very well for every muscle group and every body part, every muscle group is worked upon by using these equipments, and that is how you can use every muscle. So by understanding this concept, definitely you will get an understanding that every equipment will work on your specific muscle. Now, the gastrocnemius muscle is a biarticulate muscle, which means that it passes through the knee joint and also the ankle joint. So the knee joint, it helps in knee flexion, and at the ankle joint it helps in plantar flexion. The soleus muscle, it helps in only plantar flexion. Because it's a uniarticulate muscle, it passes through only a single joint, and that single joint is the ankle joint. But the gastrocnemius muscle, it passes through two joints, that's the knee joint and the ankle joint. Therefore, it helps in knee flexion and plantar flexion. Now, in the standing calf raises, okay, both the muscles are being used, the gastrocnemius and the soleus. The gastrocnemius muscle is the bigger muscle, it's a very big muscle. It is predominantly being used. The soleus muscle gets neglected, and that's where we work upon this muscle in the seated calf raises. In the seated calf raises, okay, according to the concept of active insufficiency, when a muscle, okay, now the gastrocnemius is a biarticulate muscle. Now it shortens, okay, it creates tension is created, shortens at the knee joint. Okay, in seated position, your knee is flexed, you bend your knee. So it gets engaged at the knee joint and it gets disengaged at the ankle joint. So in seated calf raises, it gets engaged at knee joint and it gets disengaged at ankle joint. That's because of the active insufficiency concept. When it shortens at a particular joint, that's the knee joint, it cannot create enough tension at the ankle joint because it is already shortened. So that's where in the seated calf raises, it is only the soleus muscle that you can work upon, because gastrocnemius muscle is already flexed at the knee joint. So this concept will also be I'll be talking about in my upcoming videos when we talk about leg curl machine, okay, hamstring workout and much more. So this is just a brief understanding of active insufficiency, that machines are designed keeping into consideration all this criteria.